Hey guys, it's WolfMaiden, and today I'm going to give you some tips about how to take care of your LARP swords, as well as how to apply silicone spray to your LARP swords to make them last longer and protect them from wear and tear. My first tip might help you especially if you're a new LARP sword owner or a LARP dagger owner. Do not store your LARP weapons on their tip. You can avoid bending and weakening the tip of your weapon this way. It's better to store them horizontally or to store them with a sword hanger for the hilt rather than on their tip. My second tip is to avoid storing them in sunlight and in heat. You do not want them to heat up and possibly melt, or if they're latex weapons, to dry up for their color to diminish because of the sunlight. You definitely don't want that. The next tip is to keep them free of dust and dirt. More than likely, dirt will be the cause of some issues if you drop your sword in dirt. It's abrasive, and so if it gets stuck to your sword and starts to rub against it, or other swords, or other people, it'll either hurt others or hurt your sword in the long run. Tear the paint, tear the foam. Never put your LARP weapons, literally none of them, it doesn't matter if you have a bow or a sword, over or near the fire. You don't want anything to burn, to melt, and to put off fumes. Avoid cuts or tears to your LARP weapons. Sometimes they're unavoidable, things happen, but make sure that you're coating your latex weapons with the silicone spray if you use them. Keep them away from sharp objects, don't hit them on things that aren't armor and LARP swords, and do your best to avoid those type of situations. If they do end up getting torn or ripped, you can repair them. If it's a safety issue, if there's a deep tear or cut, you may want to use soft silicone glue and things like that. I know there's different methods to do that. I would look it up if you do have a tear like that on your weapon. So latex weapons, unlike calomasil weapons, require more maintenance. Every time you use them, as a rule of thumb, you want to spray them and coat them so that they'll be protected. If you let it dry out, there are risks of tears and cracks. I know my sword has gotten that, my very first one, because I had not maintained it ever, and it had just been in storage for a couple of years. But it does help prolong the life of your weapon and prevent the drying and cracks that I talked about. So we're gonna jump over to maintaining, aka applying silicone spray to latex weapons. So I'm doing this outside. It's recommended to do this outside. I'm using Epic Armory's maintenance silicone to maintenance these weapons. Both of these are latex weapons that require that. Make sure that you're not putting it on your calomasil weapons. They do not need it. There are other ones that also have no maintenance, but these ones do. So that's why I'm doing it. I also have a simple cotton cloth here that I'm going to be using to rub in the silicone spray, make sure that it's all coated. You also want to make sure to shake the spray before you apply it. You want to use your silicone spray on your latex weapons after use to make sure that they remain covered in the coating. It helps prolong the life of the weapon and prevent drying and cracks. You want to make sure you also get 100% silicone spray. I have Epic Armory's maintenance silicone, but you can buy cheap silicone spray. Just make sure there aren't any acids in it because that'll erode the foam. It's recommended to use the silicone spray before and after use. You always want the surface to be a little bit moist so that it's protected against normal wear and tear and weather. If yours hasn't been maintained in a while, you may also need to make sure that you spray it more than you would if you constantly maintenance it or it's been maintained recently. I want to make sure that they're really well coated so that they last a long time. You can see that my first weapon has some wear and tear, a lot of cracks and things and scuffs on the paint because I just did not put latex spray on it. This is what we're trying to prevent: the paint coming off, the foam cracking, tearing, drying up. So don't be like me. And yeah, that's it. So that's the tips I had for taking care of your LARP swords. I hope you learned something from this video, or you just refreshed your memory, or you even saw what it was like to just put the silicone spray on your latex weapons. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.